So how is the weather in China, Chen? Is it like cold or?
Yeah, it's like the autumn season, and now I think it should be 25, 26 degree.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, very similar like here.
yeah,
It is a bit hot. I think 30 or something.
yeah. But last week we still have 31, 32 degree.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Sophie.
How are
Yes,
you,
Sylvie.
Candy? Hi, Ashish.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So maybe we will be waiting for a few minutes and then we will be going to start.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So we will be waiting, yeah, 1 or 2 more minutes. So then we will be going to start. I see the number is still rising, but I would suggest we can start. And I think maybe more people will be joining soon. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Share and Learn session. And our today's topics is regarding to the resilience leadership. And also Ashish is going to share with us his experience and also some tips and tricks on how to keep the resilient. So Ashish, from is to you.
Okay, thanks,
Yep.
Chen, for the introduction. Good morning and good afternoon, all. Welcome again, and thanks for joining. I still remember that couple of months we were in a similar session where we discussed about evolution of software in a setup which was like software for non-software professionals. But this time it's a different topic. I would say that it's a important topic, and in the next 60 minutes, we'll discuss some of the concepts of resilience or resilient leadership. It's very much relevant today. How to develop resilience in yourselves. That's what we'll see. Um, we all know that we are all leaders in some form and fashion in both our personal life and professional life. And it's very important overall. So during this session, as Chen was saying, I'll be sharing some of my personal experiences, some of learnings from the corporate world, which can help us to understand this complex topic better. And then we'll try to summarize later with some key guiding principles of and key takeaways. That's what I'll do in the next 60 minutes. Okay. I'll start this session with adversity and resilience. That's an introduction to adversity and resilience. If we understand adversity, we will be able to understand how to develop resilience better. So overall, I think we all understand this, but adversity can hit us in any form and fashion, in a personal life or in a professional life. Adversity can hit organizations. It can hit nations as well, which we all understand. There are many failed states in our world today. And the cause could be anything. It could be as big as COVID, which has alerted and impacted the entire humanity. Humanity. Cause could be some natural disasters. It could be something like some business cycles the organizations can hit with the adversity. There can be multiple technology disruptions which can bring in a lot of adversity in the organization and can create a lot of adverse situations. But important thing is that how to deal with adversity, and that's what we'll see. But before we move forward, I would like to introduce or like to see like you to watch a small TED talk. It's a TED talk by by Dr. Lucy Hone, who is an expert in resilience psychology. I will just see the few minutes of this. It's a TED talk by Dr. Lucy Hone, Three Secrets of Resilient People. Just one moment. Is the audio there? Was the audio there, Chen?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yes,
can
yes.
hear the audio. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'd like to start, if I may, by asking you some questions. If you've ever lost someone you truly love, ever had your heart broken, ever struggled through an acrimonious divorce, or been the victim of infidelity, please stand up. If standing up isn't accessible to you, you can put your hand up. Please stay standing and keep your hand up there. If you've ever lived through a natural disaster, been bullied or been made redundant, stand on up. If you've ever had a miscarriage, if you've ever had an abortion or struggled through infertility, please stand up. Finally, if you or anyone you love has had to cope with mental illness, dementia, some form of physical impairment, or cope with suicide, please stand up. Look around you. Adversity doesn't discriminate. If you are alive, you are going to have to, or you've already had to, deal with some tough times. Thank you, everyone. Take a seat.
I'll stop it here. You can watch the video later as well. But important thing here is adversity does not discriminate. It does not discriminate anybody in personal life. It does not discriminate in professional life. Does not discriminate corporates, organizations. We have seen organizations collapsing. Kodak, live example, almost 60 to 70% of the Fortune 100 organizations are no longer existing, which were existing in 2010 or something like that. But there are some resilient organizations. Of course, they are doing something different, and we'll try to see what difference they do or what different the resilient leaders do, and we'll see some situations like that. Also, I would like to call out that adversity can be short situations. It could be, or it would be impacting your entire life. So, but we all have to deal with that. So we all face adverse situations. We have to accept it. It's all part of life. That's important thing. And if you see the whole video, it's a good TED talk. I would recommend some of the key traits of resilient people. It says that people who understand this part, that we all face adverse situations and it's part of life, are able to deal adversity much better in their life. So with that, I'll move to it's a very good quote. It's a reaction to adversity, not adversity itself, that determines how your life story will develop. Right? That's what it is. With that, I come to the important aspect, which is resilience, and this is where it can help to counter adversity. You can read through this. It's a direct definition of resiliency. It's a human capacity to meet profound adversity, setbacks, and trauma, and subsequently recover to sustain high energy and full potential. The most important thing comes now is that it's a learned capability. It's a learned capability. Nobody is everybody can learn this capability of having big more resilience. Again, what is resilience? This exactly the resilience is this. What Nelson Mandela said, that do not judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back again. And that is what the resilience is. Now, with that, we'll move further. We know that we all have adverse situations. I'll share some of my experiences with you, how they have influenced me. And I will also like to reflect with you some of the lessons from the resilient organizations and the leaders, and what we can learn collectively from their journey, and eventually how we can become more resilient. Uh, I'll start with my experience, my first year in my professional life. We all are influenced by multiple things. There's the key influencers, academia and corporates from my story, parents and family, of course. I'll take one experience of my first corporate job in Indo Gulf. At that time, I did switch to computer science. Indo Gulf is I'm talking about almost 20 years plus kind of before that. And my first learning was related to crisis management and dealing with adverse situations on the job. Yeah, I started my career as electronics engineer trainee at one of the flagship firm of Aditya Birla Group, which is a big group in India. It's a chemical plant, Indo Gulf Chemicals. It was state of the art. There's an exact picture of this plant where it was 24/7 operations. It was also a hazardous plant. A lot of chemicals and lot of huge compressors, pumps. And my electronics engineering, of course, if you remember right, it's a campus engineer coming from campus, and seeing the large plant like this was anyway mesmerizing to me at that time. Uh, it has a lot of advanced control systems like this. What you see here, it's like very much like a Barco control room. Something like a lot of touch panels and that kind of stuff, which of course fascinated me as an electronics engineer. But I would like to narrate one of the specific incident which happened day 3 on my job. And during one of the plant visit, this was again the picture of the plant control room. And as you can imagine, that it was a very large plant having a very advanced control room like this. And we were from college, 3 people, I still remember 3 people standing just in the side of the control room, and then suddenly something big happened. We were getting a demo of the plant control room, and something big happened. All these alerts which you see, the alerts panels were in red. There were a lot of alert sounds of alarms, multiple panels. So I could see here something shrilling sound here and there, and there was a big chaos in the entire control room. Something big has happened. It was hazardous plant, which I told you earlier. The engineers were all hands were on the deck. They were acknowledging alerts at that time. Somebody was instructing something on the field that shut down that valve, increase the flow in that pipeline, something like that. And we were fresh from college, standing just there, bit scared. Apparently, what has happened was that there was something major has happened, and they were trying to bring the shutdown to a safe state, shut down the plant to a safe state. And there's something called a safe state, means that yeah, everything is fine, it is shut down now, and they will see later. Now, something unusual which I noticed, that the entire control room was in a heavy chaotic situation, but one of the senior managers not even stood from wherever he was sitting, just watching extremely calmly on what is happening. Only once during the entire 30 to 45 minutes drama, he stood up and asked something to somebody, and then settled down again. He was trying to do something on his seat, and we had a chance to meet the same manager again. He was a plant head, I could not help myself asking him that what has happened and why. Of course, he explained me, but this next question from my side, that how he was able to maintain so much cool when the entire plant was in chaos. His answer was, I trust my team. I was busy preparing the plan. He continued that since plant had tripped and it was an unplanned story, I was thinking to replace two of the critical sensors in the as a preventive maintenance exercise. That incident, and for a moment I was zapped that this guy has so much trust in his team, so much self-control, that he was able to convert the crisis into an opportunity. It was an extremely adverse situation, but the person had this so much calmness and trust in this team. That was the first lesson for me as an engineer at that time, that self control, stay calm, and trust your team. That's what I feel that it's very important for all of us whenever we face adverse situations. People who know software in cloud services, we typically get into these kind of situations. Of course, it's not a hazardous story, but we do get whenever the server is down or service unavailable, we always have to deal these kind of situations. But important thing to remember at that time also is self-control, stay calm, and trust your team. And the other eventual thing is that you have to try to find opportunity to improve during these adverse situations, opportunity to change and start a new beginning. And that's what Albert Einstein also said at some point of time. Now, with that specific instance, let's switch over to adverse situations in corporates. And as I said, that the situations can be very small, situations can be very big, but as leaders, we have to maintain resiliency to manage these things. And what we are going to discuss now in the next few minutes is some of the examples where there were strategic stories and strategic adversities which has hit the organizations big time. Okay. Before that, it's time to take a quiz. And Chen, I would need your help here to 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 start the quiz here. The question is, which organizations in the recent corporate history you can term them as most resilient? And also, I can take some questions if there has been any questions till now. Yeah. Jen, you're there? You're able to hear me?
Yes, I'm already shared the poll.
Okay, good. Yeah, please. So question is that which organizations in the recent corporate history you can term them as most resilient organizations? Just answer your thing in a text. I'm not able to see the, let me see if I can see still.
Yeah, we can see from the answer. So Microsoft, Google, Apple, VP,
Okay,
SpaceX, yeah,
very
Alphabet,
nice.
yeah.
Okay. Ah, yeah, all the big names, of course, and thanks for sharing that. I understand that we all understand now the resiliency and resilient organizations. We can move further, Chen, on this. So thanks for sharing your thoughts. I'll pick up two examples in whatever things you have shared. One is you are able to see my slide, right? The next slide, which is Apple. I
Yes.
call this, so we'll take two examples. One is Apple and one is Microsoft, and we'll see how they have managed their adversities in their corporate journey that as an organization and who helped them to do that. It's a Apple's journey was a journey through chaos, and I would say that it was extremely dramatic. It was a resilience from the brink, and it exemplifies corporate resilience in a big time. It was Apple's journey. If you see, it was punctuated by periods of a total existential crisis, I would say, and then the extraordinary triumph also. So central to this whole story is the figure Steve Jobs, whose departure in between and also subsequent return not only reshaped Apple, but also redefined the entire industry. Uh, Steve Jobs, We all understand that he was one of the most visionary, focused, and resilient leaders of our time. Uh, if we go through the journey of Apple, it was pre 1985 when I think Steve Jobs founded in 1976 or something like that. Then 1985 he was ousted as a CEO. Somebody else, John Scully, took over. His departure led Apple to in a total period of wilderness. There were too many products they were trying to launch, and it was close to 12 to 13 years where they suffered a clear lack of direction. The market cap was going down. The company was bleeding cash, and it was considered to be at the brink of bankruptcy. Also, just having 90 days of cash remaining, right? So that was the state of Apple, the first phase. But it revived. It was in 1997. Fortunately, Steve Jobs came back. Apple acquired Next, and that was the company where Jobs was the CEO. He came back as interim CEO, and then he took the full-time CEO. And situation from chaotic to started beginning to a big revival. And we'll see what Steve Jobs did, and what was how the era of hypergrowth started from 2001. There were too many new products which were launched also. iPod, iTunes, iPhone, of course, we know all that. I came to know only yesterday that the word podcast was because of the iPod, and the cast was broadcast. So he created total new categories, and currently the Apple stands at $3.5 trillion with annual revenue of 391 billion USDs. So that's how the revival was, from total bankruptcy to coming to a state of what we see here. What changed it? It was, of course, Steve Jobs' story, almost big vision, addressing volatility. When he came back in 1997, he cut down almost 70% of the Apple's product lines, bringing clarity to the confusing portfolio. So that was the main thing which we did. Then he did some decisive action which gave a lot of confidence. Strategic alliance, he allianced with Microsoft to create as 150 million investment and commitment from Microsoft to develop Office for Mac, which also was a big thing at that time, right? If you're selling a computer and not selling an Office, which was market leader at that time, it was. And then ruthless focus on competence. iMac was launched, again, simplicity story. And the major thing was that it was a volatile time for him. But he created new markets altogether. The Apple ecosystem of iPod, iTunes, all that was totally new. And then we all know, right? It is a history now. So net, Steve Jobs was the architect of reviving the story. He was himself considered to be the most resilient leader of his time, and that revived the entire Apple line. Of course, there are many people who were helping him and his team, and who were whatever. We can take one more example quickly, very shortly, about another great company, Microsoft. But this time it's a different sort of resilience which you see here. It's a resilience from stagnation, not from resilience from brink. 2010, somewhere around, Microsoft was stagnated. We all have seen that period where people have started saying that Microsoft is not innovating. It was considered to be an organization which has lost its innovative edge. They were losing big time to their mobile first strategy was not working out. They were losing big time in cloud to Amazon, for example. And Google was rapidly defining the Android ecosystem. So it was organization which had, although great products at that time, but not innovating. And that was a big stagnation time for a giant like Microsoft. In 2014, Satya Nadella came in, and this person revived and bounced back total Microsoft story. And we all know today Microsoft is Azure Cloud. We know that Office 365 and new products like Teams and all that have been launched. And we see that a big revival in just 10 years, I would say. Again, an example of resilient leadership. But what he did much different than what Steve Jobs did. It was more of a cultural transformation under Nadella. So he was a person who was empathetic towards customers and employees both. He changed a lot of strategies which
Hello,
created
Ashish.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry to disturb. I think the slides are not most updated, so we are still in the Apple page.
Oh, I can see the slide here. Can somebody else confirm that?
Yeah,
can
they
also
are
see the
also
Apple
yeah
slide.
also still in the Apple page.
We see the Apple, maybe you can reshare, Ashish, sometimes it gets stuck.
Ashish,
Okay.
Apple resilience is coming.
Just 1 moment. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what has happened. I'll stop share and then reshare. Okay, just give me 1 moment. So Microsoft, you're not seeing, right? Okay, still not coming.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Looks like some network issue because Ashish, we are not able to see you even moving. Like it looks like the screen has got stuck.
Maybe
Hello,
he's
Ashish.
reconnecting, I guess.
Yeah,
He's reconnecting, yes.
I think it's the network issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe we give him a few seconds, so then I think he will be. Hello, Ashish. Keep calm. Yeah, thank you.
Be resilient.
Yeah, be resilient.
And trust the team.
Let me check it with him.
So till the time Ashish is joining, anybody wants to share any reflection, any experience where you have dealt a situation with strong resilience.
For me, I'm not sharing my own thing, but what I really, one of the things that really stuck with me already with what Ashish said is his comment about the manager who sat there, who was calm. I trust my team because that's not just resilience; it's also so much. It's faith, it's self-control. Yeah, there is so much there. And we do work with so many talented people in Barco. We have the privilege of, working with smart people every day. But it's very easy when you get into a stress situation to think, I just got to act, I got to react, rather than taking that step back and going, hey, we got this. So it was a really nice reminder there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know I was discussing with Ashish on this topic, and we were just reflecting that, this is one of the skill which is not, it is not with your birth. You can always learn this. So that's the best part about resilience. They say that you can always learn, always adopt to this. And it not only has benefit for the organization, but it is a life skill. It is going to benefit your own life. You become more calm, patient, and you become more mature, more evolved, and you understand that these kind of situations keep coming and you become stronger and stronger. So that's what is the beauty of resilience. And I think Ashish, I don't know whether he is going to cover it or not, Candy. Although we have gone through his slides together, but because he is just joining, I want to just utilize another 1 or 2 minutes till the time he is there. So how can you have resilience in your own life? So that is what we were discussing yesterday with Ashish, that how to build that resilience. So, they say that there are many strategies which can be used, like you can practice always mindfulness. You need to have you need to develop the growth mindset. Normally they say, I think we all know we say that there are two kind of mindset, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And we say that, the one who has grown mindset always evolve, always see the positive thing in all the situations. And that's what we say that it's very important. The resilient people, they take the feedback in a positive spirit and they believe more in the constructive feedback. So I think, and also they always practice gratitude. So these are the small tips we were discussing yesterday. Can you remember with Ashish that, how can people be more resilient and how can they develop? So anybody has a routine of writing journal or doing some meditation or practicing gratitude? Amit, can you check if
Yeah,
Ashish is coming? Can you please call him?
you're able to see me now?
Okay, Ashish, you're back.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
please.
was just
Yeah.
utilizing 2-3 minutes and we were discussing what we discussed yesterday with you. Right,
Very nice.
Ashish?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about this glitch. We were talking about Microsoft, and Microsoft created some glitch. Just one moment, okay? You are able to see again.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see
okay.
Ashish.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thanks, Dimple, and my apologies. We'll talk about Microsoft again. Hopefully, it does not create glitch. Um, so again, we were talking about resilience from stagnation, which was a different story than Apple. I think you were able to hear me about the Microsoft story, or you were not able to at that time. Can somebody confirm? No.
Yes, we
Maybe
were
I'll
able
start
to
again.
hear the
Yeah.
story. And
Okay.
that's where we
Okay.
realized that, the
Yeah.
slide is still
Okay.
Apple.
Yeah. Okay. So. So it was a resilience from stagnation, bit different from what Apple resilience from brink, and this resilience from stagnation. The person was Satya Nadella behind the whole story. The major difference was that it's a more of a context of Microsoft, where they were requiring more of a cultural transformation towards innovation, from growth mindset to fixed, from moving from fixed mindset to growth mindset, and bringing in the strategic clarity of cloud first and mobile first. So he took multiple actions to address the adverse situation at that time. It, of course, not one size fits all, but Microsoft did revive, and I think we all know, right? And we are also big Microsoft consumer at Barco also. Uh, I'll move. There are many things which Nadella did, apart from major acquisitions, GitHub. So trying to bring in a strategic clarity. For example, he was, when they saw that the mobile strategy was not working, he immediately switched it to still a mobile first story, but they made sure that all their products remained available on mobile also, right? And he made sure that everything was Office available on a Mac as well as Linux, everything, and Windows, of course, on mobile also. So he continued that strategy. He revived Azure, the cloud first story also. But major thing was promoted empathy. A lot of focus on innovation, lot of focus on employees and learning. That's what he did to revive this. So, bit different story of both Microsoft and Apple. I'm sure the slides are moving now, right? Okay, slides are moving.
Yes,
Can
yes,
somebody
Ashish.
confirm?
Yes,
So again,
it's
yeah,
moving.
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The leader behind all this, and of course the entire organization, but the leader, Steve Jobs, Satya Nadella, existential crisis, near death, but Steve Jobs revived it. And strategic stagnation was there. Satya Nadella, empathetic and adaptation, and don't just pivot the product. So different strategies to come out of the adverse situations. Adverse situations could be very different also for organizations, but yeah. Moving further, VUCA to VUCA Prime. I am sure that all of you or many of you would have already heard this term VUCA. It was terminology. It's a term, an acronym for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The term is not new. It was almost coined in the 1980s, but it describes the adversity very well. And we'll just see how to manage the VUCA situations. And the antidote towards this is VUCA Prime, which was again a leadership behavioral model proposed by somebody called Bob Johnson. But again, it helps us to understand uh, how we can move from VUCA to VUCA Prime. Moving further, we have to accept this, that we live in volatile world. We have to accept that we live in uncertain world. And all these things are very much valid. Complexity is high. We have to accept it. And of course, there's a lot of ambiguous situations, especially technology. In technology, there's a big thing which is coming in AI. We don't know what is the kind of future. So let's accept it. The thing which we all have to remember before we can see is that resilient leaders don't fight VUCA. They don't fight the adversity and chaos. They just build the capacity to navigate it, and that's important. Build the capacity to navigate it, understand the adversity, and build the capacity. That's the key thing. We'll go one by one of these things which you see on top. The VUCA story, volatility, what it is, it's being disrupted and interrupted due to rapid changes. How it can be, what is the antidote? VUCA Prime, and it's a vision. I'm People who are familiar with some Indian mythology. It's a picture from Mahabharata, which is an epic in Indian mythology, big epic, where Krishna is giving a lesson to Arjun. Arjun is It's a war situation, and Arjun is not able to fight or do anything. He's lost his vision. So that's where Krishna, the famous discourse of Gita is there, where Krishna is saying that you have to remember the vision and then do your duties. That's what it is. So vision is important, and that's where, if you go back to the Steve Jobs story, maintain the vision. Uh, uh, Moving further, uncertainty. Again, we all understand this. Navigating uncertainty is important. What does it mean is that lack of clarity about something, and often resulting into incomplete or contradictory information. That's uncertainty. It is the VUCA Prime story is understanding reduces uncertainty and prioritize rapid learning. That's what Mr. Satya Nadella did, right? And he made the organization as a learning organization. He himself says that whatever Microsoft training offers, he has done almost all the courses. That's what he claims. And that's how he himself is so much aware of so many things which are happening. Anybody had a chance to read his book, Hit Refresh? It's a very good book to read in case you have not read it. Moving further, complexity. Again, definition is very clear. There are many variables, which makes the issue very difficult to understand or analyze. And the VUCA Prime, which is the antidote, is that you have to counter it by clarity. And the important thing is the make the communication as simple as possible, and constantly improve on that. It's a chaotic word, very difficult to understand, complex, but communication is important for leaders to make it simple. Ambiguous, again, like lack of clarity. We'll just quickly cover this VUCA to VUCA Prime story, and then we move forward. Lack of clarity, and the antidote which has been suggested is agility overcomes ambiguity. That's what they say. And in World War II, General Eisenhower's leadership was exactly similar, where he empowered his commanders, giving them broad objectives, didn't do any micromanagement, and that changed the whole response. So agility overcomes the ambiguity. That's what they say. So coming back, the VUCA Prime is VUCA to VUCA Prime: volatile to vision, uncertainty, understanding, complexity, clarity, and ambiguity to agility. That's what the leaders have to do, and maintain this story to in a VUCA world. We'll move further. If there are any questions, Chen, please do let me know, and I'm hopeful that slides are moving. But we will go to some of the parts of what we can do, or what you can do, to navigate the VUCA environment better. And that's where I've just collated some principles which are important, things similar to what Dimple was saying, which can help us as individuals, as organizations, as leaders in our personal life to do things better and become more resilient. This is I'll start one by one. We'll share some experiences also in between, but just be with me with this. That's extremely important. Abundant inertia for change. And Barco, also, you would have heard this word, that we are doing a lot of change. We are doing transforming ourselves. So all of us have to firstly acknowledge that we have to abandon this inertia for change, because nothing is uncertain. It's more volatile, and we have to all become change leaders in our both personal life and the professional life. As somebody has said, that today's uncertainty becomes tomorrow's absurdities, but the message clearly is that you have to change. Whatever you're doing, try to change yourself. And there's another good saying which I always remember, that sometimes we are incidentally successful or accidentally obsolete, right? It is, and accidentally obsolete is very much possible in the VUCA world. We can be very successful as individuals, as organizations, but if we don't make ourselves more future proof, it is all possibility. So transform and don't shun away from changes, right? So that's important. The next is vision. We have already talked about this vision story, and it's very important to have a vision and a plan and a goal. And when I'm talking about a vision, plan, and a goal, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about organization as an organization, but you yourself as a professional can have a vision for yourself, what you want to do, what is the goal, and if that is maintained, then everything is fine in a VUCA world. I will also like to share here in just 1 minute one interesting conversation, which again some of my experiences long back. I was traveling from. I think it was from Bangalore to Delhi. In one of the waiting at the Bangalore airport, there was a big fog and flight was delayed. I struck a conversation, the Jet Airways pilot still, about flight safety and all that. And then we were having a chat about there's so many routes which are published. At that time, we didn't have the GPS, and at that time we were. So if you remember, right, there are many airlines routes which are getting published in. You have seen that from Bangalore, there are so many flights which are going. So I asked this pilot very novice question that how do you manage this going from Bangalore to Delhi, and those, do you follow these paths, flight paths which are there? The answer, he said that 80 to 90% of the time we are not on the flight path which has been given to us. 80 to 90%. We are either flying left towards those lines or right towards those lines, top or bottom. And there could be multiple reasons. Of course, the one reason is turbulent weather. We have to navigate and we have to adapt and we have to remain agile throughout the flight. But then I asked him another question. Then why do you need a flight path? He said that that is critical. The goal and the flight path is important. Otherwise, I would have taken you to Bhubaneswar instead of Delhi. So the point here is that you need to have a goal, you need to have a path, but continue to navigate, continue to align your path towards your goal. And in VUCA, don't expect that you will always remain on the path which has been designed for you. So that is what you have to remember in VUCA. And don't get swayed by these turbulent weather conditions or turbulent adversities or whatever comes into play. So we'll move further. I hope my slides are moving. Another thing is learning, as we said, that learning it's important to have a learning organization. Barco, I feel that we are privileged to be working with Barco. A lot of focus on learning, as we can all see. I'll play a short video here, which is from a person, Narayan Murthy. I don't know how many of you know this person, but he is the person who, in most adverse situation, created a company starting from scratch in 1981, and today it's a $20 billion company. His name is Narayan Murthy, and you will hear from him. And there's a short video. I hope I have shared the sound. You're able to see hear the sound. Can somebody confirm?
Can you play it?
Yeah, sound is coming. No.
No sound.
No sound.
Okay.
No sound.
Okay, then I have to
Yeah.
again share it. Just one moment. Okay. Sorry about this. So much complexity. Okay. I think. Okay. I'll play again.
How does a leader train
You're able to
Yes.
himself?
see.
Coming now.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
now.
How does
Nice.
he groom
Okay.
himself for scaling? Vision is fine, but how do I train myself? What do I do? So what did you do to yourself? Narayan Murthy, of a startup to a billion-dollar corporation.
First of all, the biggest instrument for improvement for leaders is feedback. Most leaders who failed in the world failed because they cut off the feedback channels. They allowed only positive signals to come to them. Whether it was Mrs. Indira Gandhi, whether it was Richard Nixon, whether it is Robert Mugabe today in Zimbabwe, every one of these people, they cut off the feedback channel. Therefore, you have to create an environment where people give honest feedback. And if you use that feedback, when you sit alone, alone, and reflect on it, I think there is an opportunity for everybody to improve. The second I find is to set aside ego when it is learning. For example, when we started the leadership training program at Infosys, we were the first company to start a leadership institute in India. My colleague Finish handled a course on selling. We all sat down. Even though he was junior to us, we all sat down, we wrote down notes, we learned, and we were the beneficiaries. Similarly, when Mohan Pai did his course on finance, we all sat down and we all learned. We are much better today because of our attending those courses. So once we understand that learning from others, even though they're junior to you, is for your own betterment, I think by and large you can become better.
So I think the idea you got, but this person is really an amazing person. People who don't know him, people can create large empires, large organizations in a normal and geopolitical environment. When he started, the geopolitical environment or the economic climate of the country in India was not that good, and he created something like a 20 billion USD organization from his core leadership. He's considered to be a most ethical leader, most visionary, and most resilient leader, I would say, in general, from many perspectives. I see. Okay, I can move further. Again, human beings are important. As Peter Drucker said, that's very important. As leaders, we have to all understand this part. One thing which is favorite to me is humility, respect, and trust. I keep on repeating in many of my sessions, but it is the core of becoming a resilient leader. We believe trust is, I think it's very clear. We believe that all of us are competent and we do the right things. Remember that my earlier story, trust your team. We are okay letting them drive whenever appropriate. That's important. Respect is another important thing. We genuinely care about others. That's respect and humility is we all understand, right? It is, we are not the center of the universe. We know we don't know many things, and of course, the favorite definition is this: humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. So that's important. So keep that. Anybody and everybody, just HRT is important. Okay. Another very useful story, right, and very inspiring actually, which thanks to HR here again, we were attending one of the leadership sessions very recently, just which has impressed me big time, and this can help all of us to become more resilient overall, because there's a together a story here. So I will just play this short video again. Just a small thing, just one moment, okay? You're able to hear.
Story of Ubuntu. One day, a Western anthropologist went to Africa to study the social behavior of an indigenous tribe. He proposed a game to the children, and they willingly agreed to be part of it. He put a basket filled with fruits underneath a tree and made the children stand 100 meters away. Then announced that whoever could reach the basket first would win the whole basket and could eat all the fruits by him or herself. He lined them all up, raised his hand to give the start signal. Ready, set, go. Astonishingly, the children took each other's hands and started running together. They all reached the basket at the same time. Then they sat down in a big circle and enjoyed the fruits together, laughing and smiling the whole time. The anthropologist could not believe what he saw, and he asked them why they had waited for each other, as one could have taken the whole basket all for him or herself. The children shook their heads and replied, Ubuntu. How can one of us be happy if all the others are sad? One of the sayings in the country is Ubuntu. It means, I am because we all are. It is the essence of being human.
I am because we all are. That's the key message of this story. And if you see Barco's values, winning collaboration is that. In VUCA environment, exactly this is what we need because we all are together here. We are because we all are here, right? That's what the whole message is. I'm stressing this part that in VUCA, remember the volatility, complexity, we cannot understand many things ourselves. We have to take help from each other. Okay, very inspiring, and that's why I thought that maybe I'll just put it. There is another small thing I would like to highlight here. It's again we all are trained as leaders also and as individuals that action is important. And I think you see this picture here where, and many of you are already familiar of soccer fans. It's a penalty stroke situation which you see in this picture. And we know that the ball from this player to the goal will take around 0.3 seconds to travel. It's a very small time. And in this time, the person who is the goalkeeper has to decide whether he has to dive on the left or the right, right? The soccer player who takes the penalty stroke, there was a study which was done. 1/3 of the time he kicks it on the right side or on the left side, and 1/3 it's in the middle. But goalkeepers typically, what you have seen is that typically they will either dive towards the right or the left, but rarely they do stand in the middle. And that's where, because they feel that it's impressive to act. If the ball is kicked and it went to the right and they stood in the middle without doing anything, it saves a big time embarrassment. And there was a study and the research which was done by Israeli scientists here. So no logic of moving. Many times they can stand together, just not do anything, and they should be able to stop the goal 1/3 of the time. So the point here is that we are so much biased towards action that sometimes we always take actions in a haste, and we are compelled to take actions to do something because afterwards we feel better that at least we did something, but not necessarily in the VUCA world. So if the situation is unclear, the message is that hold back until the options are there to perform better. So in VUCA, you have to really think differently, behave differently many times. Of course, not everything is everything is very contextual in nature. If you know Warren Buffett, right, his mantra is not to act till the time is right or the fundamentals are right. He says that many times we just go to office and do nothing because he does not get swayed by the economics or the finance or behavioral story which drives the stock market. So that's the key mantra which I wanted to highlight here. Okay, moving further. Another quiz time. I don't know how much time we lost some time, but we have some time probably. Quickly, just do this quiz. If you can open, Chen, again.
Yes, I'm going to launch the poll.
Yeah. It's a short question. Don't take too much time to answer this. It's a kindergarten answer which you can take maybe 10 seconds or 20 seconds to answer this. I will then move to the next question after this once you have answered. Chen, let me know whenever I have to move to the next question or whenever you are ready to open the next question.
Yeah, I'm going to move the next questions.
Okay. I'll move to the next question,
Okay,
which is
here we
again a
go.
simple question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is again a simple question. So just take some seconds to answer these two questions. Okay. Shall we move, Chen?
Yeah, I think maybe we can take 5 more seconds to let yeah, people can answer it. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure that you were able to answer this question. It was a simple question, but each of these questions have one right answer and one intuitive answer. The correct answer is 5 cents and 47 days. The intuitive answer, how many of you have answered correctly? I don't know. Maybe Chen, you would know, but that's not the point. If you answered 10 cents or 24 days, that was the intuitive answer, which typically people do. How many times people do? Okay. The point here is that in VUCA world, there are many times you have to pause, reflect, and then act. There could be questions, there could be situations where sometimes taking the most intuitive step may not be the right step. And that's where you have to see what works best. And sometimes you have to pause, reflect, and find the best contextual step to be taken. It's true, again, individuals, I keep on saying that it's individuals, it's organizations, it could be strategic situations, it could be whatever. There's another book which I will recommend many people to read. It's by Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. A very good book for anybody to understand the philosophy of how to manage the VUCA story, and it's a nice book to read. So that's what I don't know whether you answered it right, but the important thing is that sometimes thoughtless actions are dangerous, right? That's what we have to remember, especially in VUCA. At the end, the last function of leadership is to produce results. It's VUCA or no VUCA. So you are yourself a CEO of your personal life. You are CEO of course, you are a leader in some situations in corporate life. Important thing is that you have to keep moving, producing results. I will just say again the guiding principles: future proof. Just a quick revision. Have a vision. Function of leadership is to produce results for yourself. HRT is important. Management is all about human beings. That's what we have to remember. Teach and learn, right? We are a learning organization, and thanks to HR here at Barco, we should be feeling fortunate that we are all having so much learning opportunities. That's important. Be aware of the action bias and Ubuntu, right? I am because we are. Don't think otherwise. Sometimes the otherwise is very very dangerous, actually. In the end, in short, I would say it's a skill that can be learned. We remember that it's a skill that can be learned. It benefits both individuals and organizations. Of course, small steps can lead big time results and develop a growth mindset. I'll come to an end of this session here. We'll open up for questions or if there are any reflections from anybody. But I found this a quote in Hindi by poet Iqbal. The English version is this, where you see there is a special reason that why our existence does not perish, though the ages has been our adversaries for centuries. And the Hindi version people can read who are familiar with Hindi here. So I'll stop share here, open it up for any reflections from anybody, and then we can of course close, open to any reflections or any questions or anybody has any opinions about what we just now discussed. Be a resilient leader. I will again repeat, it's VUCA time these days. Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, now you are audible. Yeah.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the session, Ashish. I just have one reflection out of it. So the first image that you showed in your previous slide, that is of a small plant, which is there. It showcases resilience. So we can learn resilience a lot from nature itself. I myself being a tree grower and a plant lover. So as you can see, a small seed. If you talk about a banyan tree, a small seed with time, with resilience, with patience, it turns into such a big forest that it becomes an ecosystem for so many other living beings. So this is one reflection that we can take from nature. So I always follow this, that walk the path of the nature if you want to be resilient.
Very nice. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing, Arjun. Yeah. Anybody else has any other reflection? Any questions? Jen, anything else which we can do here?
Any other questions? Yeah. Okay, everyone is saying that very nice session, great session. Yeah.
Thank you. And feel free and help each other to succeed and
Ashish.
become more resilient. That's what I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, just one
Yeah,
thing, Ashish,
hello.
like, we spoke about VUCA and we pretty much reflected and demonstrated that right in this session itself. We witnessed there was an uncertainty, things were not working, and we are expecting it may get delayed, and eventually you successfully conducted it in time with a couple of minutes still left for questions. Thank you, Ashish, for that. Great session. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I think somebody raised her hand or
Yeah, if no more questions, so I would suggest that we can close the session. And thank you
So the
all for your
Ashish,
time, and
Sunit,
thank you,
Sunit,
Ashish. Yeah,
Sunit,
yeah,
this
Sunny.
side,
Yeah,
Ashish. Yeah.
yes,
So the
Sunit. Yeah.
experience which you
Good.
shared,
yeah,
Ashish, like from your like when you started your journey, right? So the
Yeah.
experience you shared where you mentioned that the trust your team always. So that was very nice. Like I really like that point because we are working as a team together, right? And then like the success is of the product is always depend on the team, and the
The team.
team success is
Yes.
always depend upon some factors, and
Yeah.
trust each other is one of the part of that. So that
Perfect.
was
Yes.
really nice, yeah, Ashish. The
Yeah.
session was very awesome. Like all the example which we have gave, like around Apple, Microsoft, the resilience, all those things. These were very interesting. Even after this meeting, also I will try to see this recording if we have
Oh,
this.
very nice. Yeah. Good.
Uh-huh.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you for the
thanks,
kind
thank you
words.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, thanks.
yeah. Thank you. We'll be sharing the recording afterwards, and happy to explain it. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See
Thank you,
you.
Ashish.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Bye.